Thank you previously on for showing us that we should expect an Unfet's night rest. Random shot of spider droid thingy is random, until of course someone in the comments explains to me politely how meaningful it is to the overall story. They might even spin a web of evidence to support their claim. I'll leave quietly.
I was concerned that you would feel insulted.
Why would I feel insulted?
Zero clue, but I don't know how we'd even know if you were. Tamara Morrison has the exact same facial expression with every line he delivers.
After the sail barge disaster, there was a power vacuum. Bib Fortuna assumed Jabba's mantle.
This entire scene is helpful. So helpful, in fact, that one would assume the debrief would have happened long before now. Also, as the names Bib, Mos Espa, Trandoshans, Aqualish, Klatooinians, and Mokshays are thrown out, I realize that we've been too hard on movies like Raya and The Last Dragon. Sure, spelling all their exposition out with pretty visuals was annoying at the time, but I much prefer that to this absolute mind-boggling storm happening in my brain. They have a visual map right there. Make it light up or something. Add a banner with district symbols that match up to the names. Show me a hologram face for f***'s sake.
Mayor has no power.
He certainly does. He has the wavy hand, sweet-talking court jester, a receptionist, a waiting room, an entire building, and a throne room. That is at the very least some level of influence. I guess they're not even trying to make it appear that the Rancor pit is below the grates in the floor. You can see the sand directly below the decorative pretend tiles.
I am Lord Appeal. I am a watermonger in the Workers' District.
I'd give all the sins back if we were to discover that Lortha is a long-lost relative of Jimmy James and news radio is in fact in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Considering today is also the first day you were debriefed about the power vacuum, this is not surprising.
Rid the streets of Mos Espa of this scourge, and I will double my tribute to him.
Bribery.
You better fight as good as you talk, Dan.
No!
Right? That's a terrible way to hire someone. Hey, you talk sassy and look badassy, so I'm going to hire you without knowing anything about your actual skill set. Wait, how did the water guy even hear Fett from all the way over there in the first place? If you're going to have all these multicolored Mos Vespas, these things better Voltron or Mighty Morphin before this episode is over. If not, I'm giving it 50 sins. The Circle of Life. Also, creatures belching is never funny. I mean, unless it is. But here it's not. We now return you to the liquid submersion sleepy bubble chamber of exposition, where dreams are already in progress. I am so annoyed by this clip that I continue to see and yet do not understand its significance. I'm gonna assume they never properly tell me why this moment is so important, and I'll give a few sins now. I'll then forget to give them back later because, well, the sin count doesn't actually matter. Unlike plot points that we've seen many times that clearly do and should have been explained by now. Well, that's just depressing. Also, putting your hand on the window, which causes handprints, which then need to be cleaned. I just want to say that if you think this bantha is on for some time, just hold tight because they actually show Fett walk back across the desert too. Also, since the Tusken have several speeder bikes now, as seen in the previous episode, why isn't Boba riding one of those instead of this slow-moving bantha? This miles-long bantha hair hanging off the end of Fett's weaponry. Yes, it's a sin.
I have business with the Pike Syndicate.
Does Boba know what the guard said to him, or is he just guessing? From the look on Boba's face, I lean the latter, so why is he just walking on in? The guard could have said, "You'll need to drink my piss first." And saltine crackers do not get that taste out of your mouth, no matter what your friends might tell you. Or so I've heard.
Please, come in.
And of course, this one speaks English, even though the guard didn't, because Star Wars reasons.
The sands have belonged to the Tuskens since the oceans dried.
And those same Tuskens, Boba Fetted his ass all across the sands that they owned for days with no water. And just weeks later, Boba's doing their bidding. Does that sound like the Boba Fett we saw in 2 scenes in the original trilogy? I think not. Show does not contain a pre-show warning of no banthas were harmed during the filming of this episode. Guess I won't be needing this anymore. Also, it sure is lucky for us that Boba's having these dreams of memories in the actual order that the events occurred. Ah, sudden not Chewbacca. And yeah, I know he has a name. It's Ted. What a weird name to give a Wookiee. You'd think they'd come up with something fun like Chrysanthemum. Missed opportunity if you ask me. I've never been lifted off my feet by an enraged Wookiee, but if I were, I'd jam my thumbs into its eye sockets instead of slapping its thick-skulled head. Go for the soft spots. Also, these two are making a lot of noise. The Gladiookie is roaring, Fett is grunting, the regeneration chamber was opened far too early and must have sounded an alarm of some kind, and yet no one comes until the in the nick of time cliche has been activated. This incredibly overflexed big toe.
Stay back!
I want to be surprised that the Wookiee is standing on the perfect spot to drop into the Rancor pit. I really do. But I'm not. No one is. And that is a sin. Wasn't it so kind of Fett to fetch his robe before coming down the stairs to continue to fight off a Wookiee? One might think he'd also bring a weapon, but no, just a robe and a grimace is all Fett needs to command. Putting your feet on the table.
Enough food.
You haven't said that already?
I need to respond.
You need to get the street kids in here to enjoy this massive table of food. Man, Danny Trejo's cameo appearances just keep getting weirder and weirder. Oh ho ho, another twist and turn, and who has rights to what territory? Oh, do go on while I research when we get back to the far better B-plot.
I offer him back if you renounce all claims to Jabba's legacy on Tatooine.
But didn't they just do that? But didn't they just give a Rancor?
Rancor are emotionally complex creatures.
Emotions, you say? Skip.
They can become very loving.
Loving, you say? Skip. Wait, we're still in this scene? This Rancor's on for some time.
I've ridden beasts 10 times its size.
Wow, that's no way to talk about your exes. I'm not sure how this gun at her thigh is any more intimidating than the massive gun on her back.
That was a bit heavy-handed, don't you think?
The two of you walked in here all armored up, and once again, Boba has a f***ing gun. Heavy-handed was how they entered the room. It's very hard to take this Crayola Crayon Kid Gang seriously on their chrome Power Ranger bikes that only go 15 miles per hour. This reminds me of a joke. Why didn't the droid cross the road? He didn't have the guts. Imagine there being a writer that thinks of this when they think of Star Wars, and then imagine someone else giving said writer a lot of money to work on the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, there's zero reason they would know this in advance, but I still feel like the show missed an opportunity by not giving Sophie Thatcher the yellow speed bike along with a yellow jacket.
Mayor's gone. He's working with the Pikes.
I mean, of course he is. Makes perfect sense that the exact same group Boba has been dreaming about is who is teaming up with the mayor to take him down. Not a coincidence at all. That's just how life and dreams work. But where's my Mighty Morphin Voltron? I want a Mighty Morphin Voltron.
Why don't you let me get a sip for 15 cents?
And here you see the businesses that were under the protection of the name that should not be spoken.
You can say Jabba.
We do not speak his name.
You want me to ask around?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Lucy, and I want you to shut up.
State your name and your business.
Mr. Lumberg told me to talk to payroll, and then payroll told me to talk to Mr. Lumberg, and I still haven't received my paycheck, and he took my stapler.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Go, go, Power Rangers! Get up!
Star Wars gone